The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan. Pika Pika.
Shall we play a game?
You've got several things to do. You've got work, kids in school. What do you do when it's all over?
How do you hand something from one player to another?
Turn on the TV, pick up the controller and play some games with the new clan.
Welcome to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast that cops out and watches a movie to review instead of doing a video game. I'm your host, Caleb Schweiss.
Caleb Cray.
And Cameron.
And that movie is, of course, none other than Detective Pikachu.
Hell yeah.
We forgot to do our Rotten Tomatoes thing with this, where we have people guess the score and then give them the ultimate score of a movie ticket.
Well, we can do it for us. What do you guys think it is?
Well, I already know what it is. I looked at it.
Oh, you did?
Shit.
Yeah.
I haven't looked. I don't know.
What do you think, Cameron?
I think so. Video game movies hardly ever go positive. But I feel like this one. I think this one would be around just above 50, 55-ish.
Okay.
I did see the score like a week ago.
Oh, you fuck! This is not even
But
the game. then.
Cam, it was like at 74
It doesn't even
then.
matter.
It was at 74 then. I don't think it's at 74 anymore.
Cameron's done with you. Yeah, no, it's at 64%.
64? Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to avoid it, but Caleb told me what it was earlier, and I was like, fuck you, man.
Did I?
Well, does
Yeah.
this make this the highest rated video game movie out there?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
Live action, for the most part. Live
Yeah,
action.
because Rampage was at like, what, 52% or something is what it ended on?
I think it was almost 60. I think that and Tomb Raider were right
I
around
don't think
60.
it was at 60 because Tomb Raider was like 51, and Rampage beat it by like a few percent.
52%.
Oh, shit, 52?
Let's
Really?
look up Tomb Raider.
I'm thinking Tomb Raider is at 51 or at 50.
52.
Oh, they're at the same right
well,
now.
Jesus Christ. By a pretty beefy margin. This is
Yeah.
the best rated video game movie, live action movie, so...
Yeah, and we'll get into our opinions on that if we feel like the score is about accurate.
Yeah, we will. But before we get into any of that shit, guys, this is your first episode of Nude Clan. Something happened in my kitchen. Check it out. Check out the other episodes we have. If you'd like to support the show, you can support us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Nude Clan podcast. You can send us a donation on our PayPal on our website at nudeclan.net, where you can also find forums to ask us your well-thought-out and beautifully worded questions.
You can also do that on Twitter at Nude Clan Podcast.
Exactly, and that is also where you can vote on any and all games that we put up for the polling, and you can tweet me personally at UFF Podcast.
Me at Obsidian Bar.
Me and Nude Clan Cam.
And there's other great ways to get a hold of us, or get our Facebook page, facebook.com// Nude Clan Gaming. That's nude, NEWD, because Facebook is BULLSHIT. And fuck, what else we got? I guess Nude Clan Podcasts.
Or the old Audible trial.
Yeah, Audible trial. Guys, I can't stress enough how awesome Audible is. If you don't use Audible and you have long drives or long stints of pointless movement at work, Audible is your fucking friend, man.
Yes, it is.
Quality products, quality books, generally excellent readers. audibletrial.com/Nude Clan. Support us.
Plus, there are stats,
Support
badges, and
yourself.
shit.
Yeah.
You know how we are about stats.
Exactly, yeah. Stats are fucking beautiful, and this is just yet another place to get stats, all right? And if you don't like it, it's fine. It's just a trial. You can cancel it and move on. It's not the end of the world, but it's if you don't think it's for you, you might be wrong, because I was definitely wrong. But guys, before we get into any fucking talk of what this movie's about, any of that, any of our questions for the week, what have you guys been playing since we last spoke?
Well, let's see. I played
Here. Not like last spoke, but like here spoke.
I played Legend of Dragoon, and I played some Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and I played some Conan Exiles.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and some Gravity Rush.
This is the first time in a long time we didn't spend forever talking about Conan Exiles at the very beginning of our podcast.
Yeah. And let's not do it now.
No, I think this is the perfect time to make the announcement. We're not doing Nude Clan anymore. We're doing Conan Exiles Clan. So,
Conan Clan.
Conan Clan, yeah. Stay tuned for that. But no, it's
that How to Kill Your Podcast. Real fucking fast.
How to Kill a Podcast. It's like instead of like How to Train a Dragon, it's How to Kill Your Podcast. Just talk about Conan Exiles.
Let's find what other unsuccessful games we can put our stars behind and see how well we do.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Find some.
I don't
other
even.
shit
Was
free
Conan
games.
unsuccessful? It feels like it was.
It's.
Considering it's still like a $60 game on fucking like for download.
I don't know, man. If you look at the community page on that game, there's a fuckload of people streaming it all the time.
Yeah, they find it as addicting as we do.
It's fucking addicting, and that's why we're talking about it again.
Yeah,
on
so I was
Newsclan.
gonna say
I've seen like people doing like
we've-
builds and shit for their fortresses and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, because that part's fun. Building up bases is fun, but people who do that, fucking, they're not building their bases legitimately. They've unlocked their server to where they have infinite resources. So
I literally saw a dude who had modded it, so his dude was like floating around
That's just
in like
admin mode.
the god position.
That's just admin mode. But anyways, we've paid our Conan dues this episode. We can move on.
Yeah. All right. What else though, Craig? Is that it?
That's it.
All right. So you're getting ahead on that Legend of Dragoon. A
Yeah,
little bit
plowing
of Conan.
through. Yeah,
All right.
gotta get started on that Cuphead soon.
That's right. That did win.
Yeah.
Need to buy that. Cameron, what about you? What have you been up to?
So I played a little bit of Devil May Cry 5.
How do you like it? What do you think?
It's okay so far.
It's not as good as God of War's.
No.
I mean,
no.
It's still pretty good though. I like the combat.
It's fun. I'll give it that. It's taken me a moment to get in the story. That clip that I made fun of at the beginning, like when the trailer came out, and that the one chick, I forget her name, was doing like trying to grab the cigarette in her mouth, looked like a fish going after fish food.
Yeah.
I rolled my eyes at that again.
The thing that made me laugh about that scene was there came up a little warning thing on the bottom of the screen that was like, "This game does not promote smoking in any way," and I was like, "It's fucking hilarious."
Yeah, nothing. Everything about that scene made me really want to go fucking get some cigarettes.
It made me want to go get cigarettes and dumpster trailer park pussy. That's what it made me want to get. Like I want to get that fucking grease ass on there. Yeah, no.
Grease as in she's a mechanic, right?
No.
I mean, she is.
She
is, but not that kind of grease.
Oh.
I want to grease up my fucking monkey wrench. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
I don't actually, though. I mean, I like her character. I think her character is pretty cool, but I'm not like, well, man, I mean, not like attracted to her that way. So, but she's funny.
And as Troy's backpedals,
There's a lot of shit in this game that I think Cameron's gonna hate, kind of, but I actually kind of liked.
We'll find out.
Craig's like we gotta get like the Weeboo scale, you know, like who's it's like the Richter scale.
This is like the least weeby one.
Well, yeah, I mean,
by far,
DMC is
by
probably
miles.
I haven't felt like any overpowering weebiness from it. I felt a little cheesiness come off of the what's that guy? The dude with the cane and the bird,
V.
who looks like what's his name?
The thing that Devil May Cry does is that there is cheese, and they accept it.
Yeah, that one's just fine. I don't.
He
feel
looks
any
like
weeb.
he's from The Used. is
No,
what he looks
he
like to
looks
me.
like that, but he also looks like Adam Driver a little bit to me.
Oh yeah, no. There's an
he
image
does, yeah.
that's like Adam Driver, and
If that's his name. Took me a second to
he
remember.
looks exactly like Adam Driver. To me.
Yeah.
His
He
nose
was-
needs to be about an inch longer, but
And just kind of get that feeling from him, the angst.
yeah. And
the
he's about to start
darkness.
singing about the bird and the worm. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah. Take us back.
I don't feel like the weebiness is out of control. Like,
Okay.
so there was some. So the weebiness. The one I felt uncomfortable watching, like slightly uncomfortable watching Advent Children again after a while. That felt a little uncomfortable. But would you guys classify that as like being a super weeb show?
It's pretty weeby, yeah. It's like so fan fictiony that it
Or
is
is it just
weeby.
cringy?
It's cringy because it's a bad movie.
Okay.
It's
I feel
fun,
like-
I mean,
It's a bad movie, Schweiz. It's a
And then
bad
don't
movie.
blow it out of
It's not as
proportion,
bad as
saying like,
King's
oh, if it's
Glaive, I
anime
mean.
and weeby, I won't watch or
No,
enjoy it. Like my previous roommate watched a lot of anime.
The
and I would watch it
animation
with him.
is pretty awesome for Advent Children, but that's about it.
Yeah.
That's it. The rest of it is probably what you were cringing on, like the three dudes who come after Cloud and everything, and they're like, "Don't cry" or whatever.
hey man, the music's
Shit
great.
like that. But
I mean, would you class
That's part of the movie, bro.
Near Automata? Would you say that's a weeb game?
Yeah, but it's different. It's a weeb game visually, but like the message. No, it's a weeb game. I'd say.
I would say it's a weeb game. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's a pretty weeby game.
The fact that there's a trophy for looking up her skirt is pretty weeby.
Well, the fact that like you would not know that by just doing it anyway is sad. But yes, it's very weeby, and the porn that came from that game.
Oh. You have to.
A+ in Schweiss's book.
It's an S rank.
That was even higher.
That was
S plus.
that is a very weeb thing.
Yeah, the S being over A. Yeah, that's a weeb. That's a weeb ranking.
I got to get the triple S from the DMC.
Yeah. So what else, Cameron? Has it just been DMC 5?
No, so I played a little bit of that. I've actually been playing a little bit more. I've been picking up Warframe again, just a little bit with
Oh,
my
okay.
listeners.
With Branny?
Yeah,
Okay, I was like, did Brandy finally convince you to fucking play
I've
it?
always wanted to come back to the game, just had to find time.
It's a
for
pretty fun game.
So every time I
Especially
hear
since
him-
it's like a free-to-play one.
Every time I hear him talking about it, it sounds like you abandoned him.
it. Well, that's
He's got
that's
like
Brandon.
cam abandonment issues in
It's
Warframe.
because it's like the only game that he's played, and we have other stuff to play. So
Yeah.
And
it's a
then
little-
It's his
Brandon
Conan
has,
Exiles?
has a huge
and then Conan
financial-
Exiles took over.
Yeah, and then I've also been playing Conan Exiles a little bit, but Brandy has a huge financial reason to keep playing.
Yeah, he's put
Warframe.
some money into it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I like Warframe. It just gets a little repetitive for me.
Yeah.
I would like some events to happen and shit like that for that game,
Mm.
it's a fun one.
But when you with Warframe, it's a grind to get the things you need. You have to, your
Yeah.
Warframe itself, you have to level up. Then the mods you need for it. But then when you finally get your mods going and your whole idea behind your build's working, that's really nice. It feels cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Is that all you had going this week?
that's all I played.
All right. For me, I think I logged into Conan Exiles once for like 10 minutes to see what was going on, and then I logged back off. There's no harm, no foul. All right, I'm not going to Conan. I did play Digimon World 3 the first 20 minutes twice. So that was nice.
Wait, you did it twice again?
No, just the one time. Just twice, not twice, 4 times. And Theater Rhythm Curtain Call, a lot of that. Trying to beat that for Ultima Final Fantasy, and that's been most of the game time I've had this week. I was just kind of going through those songs and getting ready for that review. But I think that's it for me I played some Dissidia NT online, and it was absolute trash.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah, it was fucking bad, dude. It was so laggy. Like, I had a guy in Japan, and I'm like, and it was fucking. You could tell he was in Japan because he was all over the place, and I was just getting wrecked. So I played that piece of shit again, just to toy with the idea of getting that platinum, and I don't know if it's possible. But that's about it for me. The important thing is, really the only thing, did anyone beat a game this week? Craigie!
Yeah, I beat that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite again.
Oh, again?
Yeah, I beat it like 2 years ago when it came out.
All right, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for the Craig.
I got some of the characters from the DLC, so I wanted to try it out. Venom is cool. Monster Hunter's weird.
What about you, Cameron?
No.
All
Keep
right.
playing those games. That takes hours.
I also did not beat a game this week, so the hog is as follows for the hosts. Caleb Craig, King Hog, with 17 games. I am in second place with a cool 14, and Cameron, third place with 5.
Nice. Going for a real record this time.
Yeah, you're gonna crush your record from last year. I'll tell you that. Right now. So that's how we are right now, guys. Hog League is happening. Hog League is cool. Log your hog, hogib.herokuapp.com. Join the competition. Join the fun. Craig, do we have a question?
I will find out. I mean, this is a review technically, so I didn't think we were going to do one.
True.
Gotta do one, I mean.
It doesn't look like we got any.
Guess we don't gotta do any.
Really?
Yeah, fuck.
That's insane.
Well, you guys want to talk about Detective Pikachu?
Fuck yeah.
All right, let's get right into it.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokemon.
Tim, your dad was a legend in this precinct. If you were anything like your dad...
I'm not.
I remember. You wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when you were young.
Yeah, that didn't really work out. Someone there? Whoever you are, I know how to use this.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
I know. You can't understand me. But put down the stapler or I will electrocute you.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me?
Oh my God, you can understand me. Stop. I've been so lonely.
They try to talk to me all the time. All they hear is Pika Pika.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika! Yeah, Pika Pika Pika. He's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
Can no one else hear him? I don't need a Pokemon, period.
Then what about a world-class detective? Because if you want to find your Pops, I'm your best bet.
We're gonna do this. You and me.
There's magic that brought us together, and that magic is called hope. Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mime.
Yeah.
So tell us what we want to know. Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving.
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops.
In my head, I saw that differently.
All right, so Detective Pikachu is the most recent video game based movie released this weekend, right? It was opening weekend for it.
Yeah.
And
it came out on Thursday.
So I guess that's 5.9 for Thursday, 5.9, 5.10. You know, average height for a man. The movie, I think it overcame the box office for Avengers Friday night, which I guess is impressive. I mean, Avengers has been out for like 3 weeks now, though, so, you know, but that's still pretty good, though, and it was, it brought in a decent amount. I kind of like doing the later movies, or the movies, like, down the road, because then we could really talk about the box office and, like, the budget and shit like that, where it's a lot harder to do that.
I mean, your opening weekend can be very predictive of how well a movie will do, but it's still nice to give it some time.
Yeah, exactly. But it seems to be doing pretty well. If you haven't seen it yet, you know, you probably shouldn't be listening to this review.
Yeah, so spoilers, just so you guys know, but I'm pretty sure you're all aware of that. But since this is a brand new movie, don't listen to this until you go watch it, if that's something you care about.
Yeah, budget $150 million. Box office so far, $64.1 million. So it's off to a pretty good start, but it's still got $90 million to make up. It stars Ryan Reynolds, Justice Smith, Catherine Newton, Suki Waterhouse, Omar Chaparro, Chris Gere, Ken Watanabe,
Yeah.
and Bill Nighy. And yeah, guys, what did you think? I mean, story is pretty basic. I mean, we start off with a kid they live in a world where Pokemon are just everywhere. Like, Pokemon are just part of the world, right?
This seems to take place in the same world as the mainline video games. They just have a separate city.
Yeah, because
where they live together, like no Pokeballs, no battling, you know, that kind of thing. They just live as a community with their partner Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, city where Pokemon battles are not allowed. It was a city that was supposed to be this perfect, peaceful union between Pokemon and for humans to live together and just work together as partners and not as, you know, a pet designed to you know, rule the ring and basically animal fights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, they've made a world, and it's weird because, like, would we treat them as Pokemon in this world, or would we just treat them as, like, weird animals? You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of thinking that as I was watching it.
Even in the Pokemon world, Pokemon aren't treated quite, you know, necessarily as animals, because they do have a form of intelligence and consciousness that you can't see in actual real-world animals.
It's fucking weird because no one is quite sure if the Pokemon are the animals or if there are still regular animals outside of Pokemon.
Right.
Because the anime shows like regular animals, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's really fucking weird.
I've also heard theories that humans themselves are Pokemon. And that kind of goes deeper into that because...
wouldn't really work.
I'll have to show you what I watched because it was...
I know, I've heard the same theory, especially since Arceus is God.
Yeah.
So...
and then when you have...
But then, so
Pokemon
is
with human intelligence, and then maybe human evolution is death. And then now they're a ghost type.
Well, if you read some of the Pokédex entries for some of the ghost type Pokemon, that does not surprise me, especially with Yamask.
And then you have super intelligent Pokemon that are psychic, that have human or more intelligent, higher levels of intelligence than average human.
Oh yeah, like fucking. I think one of the Pokédex entries for like Alakazam or something was like, this Pokemon has an IQ of over 300 or over 400, something bullshit.
Right. And so that's why they're just saying that humans are Pokemon as well. They just the most populated, you know, the biggest population of it. I don't even know the population of Pokemon, and what I have no idea.
Yeah.
How many of one type there are, and if they even keep a consensus on that.
The type that has the most Pokemon in it is water type. which would make
Lot of
sense
water.
with the ocean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like 70% covered in water.
But it's definitely not. They're definitely not treated as you would think animals are treated. They're definitely, especially with the idea of that city of Pokemon
They're
and
kind of
humans living
like-
together.
yeah, they're kind of like pets, but at the same time, it's more like they treat them as having a
It's-
higher intelligence
Yeah.
than we treat normal animals. So it's kind of odd.
So it's like the difference between like a wolf and a dog. Is that?
No, it's more
that-
like
Not even.
I don't know.
I guess
It's like having animals that are emotionally intelligent and might have like they act like they like a toddler or a younger kid would act.
Yeah, especially with some of the Pokemon being like psychic types that have an actual intelligence. Those ones would be able to communicate. So,
Yeah. Yeah, the setup for the world is very weird. I don't think they have any other.
Yeah, it was. I feel
animals,
like a little. Yeah,
I mean, they showed some
Little
buffalint
rushed.
being like in like a ranch, and so that
Yeah,
makes
does
sense.
it bug you guys that they didn't just do Gen 1? Because like I think
Nah.
everything after Gen 1 gets like really bullshit.
No, I enjoyed the fact that it was all Pokemon.
they didn't show the bullshit Pokemon.
Yeah, they did. They showed some bullshit Pokemon in
Which
there.
ones?
Did you not see the lay Pokemon just like floating around in the beginning?
Yeah, those are horseshit Pokemon.
Okay, I guess
It's like,
maybe.
yeah. It's literally just a lay. They're just like floating around.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't see the ice cream Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have a
It would've
few
been-
of the
it would've
Pokemon.
been
There's
funny-
over 800 Pokemon that
It would have
you
been
know,
funny
are
if the
in the Pokemon
ice cream
world
Pokemon was
were
like
just-
working at Baskin Robbins or something like that.
That would be kind of funny.
That would have been funny.
It would also make sense to
Yeah.
have ice Pokemon working in that kind of thing.
Yeah, or like a
did
shaved
have-
ice.
You know, it's funny. I did notice that they had stuff like that in the movie. Like they had Octillery, which is an octopus Pokemon, working like a Japanese sushi thing on the corner, which
Did
is
they?
fucking funny to me. Yeah,
It's kind of dark.
yeah, it is, but it's funny.
Because if there are no like animals, where does meat come from?
Pokemon.
Yep.
And
There is a Pokemon episode where they talk about eating a Magikarp, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't think we could do that."
and like the flavor of Magikarp isn't that good.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be basically inedible because it's like nothing but skin.
And if we say that Pokemon have some form of consciousness, that's comparable to what humans
At
have.
least some would. Yeah.
Like what? Yeah, that's another argument for another day. The food comes from somewhere.
It's got to be Pokemon, and
It's
the
gotta be
thing is
Pokemon.
though is
Probably
you don't,
the same normal type Pokemon that they would pick would be like Miltank and Tauros, and the cow type Pokemon and
the tough part is they said in the show that you can't kill a Pokemon, you can only KO them, right? You can only knock a Pokemon out.
oh no, they can
You
still
can kill
die.
them, yeah.
Oh,
Fucking Cubone wears the skull of its dead mother,
well, yeah, but it was
which they mention in the fucking movie. So
I don't know. Does that really count though?
yes,
Or maybe it's just you can't.
there's Pokemon death in the games, or at least in the first two.
All right, well, it kicks off with our buddy Jack and his friend, of course, Harry, who is the main dude. And they're kind of like dicking around, and Jack is giving Harry shit for not having his own Pokemon, basically. He's like, come on, man, you got to get your own Pokemon, because it's like a status symbol, It's like you're getting hazed going into your fraternity.
No, he was
that.
doing it more for like he felt like his friend was lonely and he wanted like to help him get a Pokemon because he remembered like as kids that they wanted to be Pokemon trainers. So he like kind of set up a situation where he could get himself a Pokemon, and he was like talking about how he wanted to give him the right type of Pokemon that would be like the perfect partner for him. Which is why he picked Cubone for some reason, because it's the lonely Pokemon.
Yeah.
Why would that even make sense, though? Let me give you something that's sad so you can be sad together. It just doesn't sound like that's something to break him out of the funk.
Maybe because Cubone would bond quicker with him. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, but he tries to catch the Cubone and it backfires on him.
How do you feel? It gets real fucking pissed because he mentions the fact that he's wearing the skull of his dead mother.
How do you
which would make
feel
sense.
they did that Pokemon capture scene? There was no battle beforehand. So I guess it's more of a Pokemon Go approach where you just throw the Pokeball.
Well, you don't always have to battle.
Right.
It's just a thing in the game because
I think that scene went kind of well. I think.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because we have, I don't know, it's more physically representative of what we get in Go, and he doesn't have a Pokemon, so we can't battle the Pokemon. So yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. And then the Cubone like freaked out when he didn't get captured and chases him down, and it was
those Pokemon have a little more power too than you'd expect because when that Cubone threw his bone at him. Or, yeah, like the amount of earth displaced from that.
The bone throw, yeah, it just like fucking launched him.
Like, Pokemon are powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And
well, yeah, I mean, you see like fucking Pikachu starting explosions with the gas and because of the sparks. So
yeah, and so further on in the movie, we cut to a little laboratory where we see a Mewtwo in like a little test tube. And the Mewtwo like explodes out of the test tube, and everyone's freaking out. And then like,
and he starts chasing down this car that's like going down the highway or whatever.
Yeah, and it looks like he zaps the car with his little ability thing and knocks it off the road, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm coming in. It's very misleading with the Mewtwo, and Mewtwo we know traditionally is like a dick, right? Like I feel like in Pokemon 2000, wasn't he like the asshole? Like the evil guy?
Not in 2000. It was in Pokemon the movie.
But
that was he only hates humans because like the only thing he knows of humans is that they've like treated him like shit. Because they created him and then they just stuck him in a test pod and then just like poked him with needles and shit pretty much his entire life.
Yeah,
so he fucking hates humans and kind of rightfully so.
He founded PETA, by the way, as well.
Kind of.
Yeah. But he breaks out of his thing and like flies off, and it looks like he blasts this car off the road, and then we kind of leave that there.
And then the main character Harry gets a phone call saying that there was an accident in Rhyme City.
Harry's the dad, Harry Goodman.
Or yeah, what was the Tim is the character?
Yeah, Tim's the kid.
Okay, yeah, Tim gets the phone call.
These names are very Pokemon-esque in their very basicness, like Tim, fucking.
I mean, they're not really following Pokemon, because if it was following Pokemon, the main character would be like a color.
That's true, yeah.
Or like a stone.
True, they should have just done Ash. Just made him Ash, why not?
Yeah, because Ash doesn't exist in the video games.
Doesn't he?
No, he doesn't. Plus, Ash is a bitch.
Yeah, so he learns that his father has died, and that's who we saw in the car wreck thing, and it looks like the car got super fucked up. And so the kid goes to his dad's office, and he wants to basically gain access to his dad's house.
Yeah, so he can like take care of all this stuff for him.
Yeah.
Then just go back.
And as he approaches and opens up the like his little mailbox thing, this girl pops up and starts talking to him, and her name's Lucy, and she's like a bullshit columnist for a newspaper or like a blog, online blog.
She's blog.
Yeah, her blog is like the cutest Pokemon or whatever.
Something that you'd expect to come out of BuzzFeed.
Yeah, a real clickbait.
Basically, she's
bullshit.
like an intern.
Yeah, and she sees our main character, and she talks about how there's some undercover shit going on, like your dad was in deep with this kind of stuff, and the main just kind of blows it off. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this, this isn't really for me. And then he kind of goes upstairs and unlocks the door, and he's getting super sentimental. And this is part of the movie that didn't really work as well for me, because I felt like the build up wasn't very there, for the relationship between the dad and him, because the dad and him had their problems, and like they never really saw eye to eye. There's a lot of shit that went.
Well, the kid felt like he was abandoned by his dad, and then as a kid made a choice to not live with him, and so I guess just there's this little valley of resentment. But I think some of it does fall on dad, because if you're a dad, you want to connect with your son, then you go do that. You don't give up just because your son one time said no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unless, I think more could have been done. But again, this is a kids movie, and so I'm willing to forgive certain things. It's not, I don't know. Like, I felt like the introduction with Lucy was a little rushed and a little kind of obvious and weird. Yeah.
Well, shortly after this, he goes up into the apartment, and the girl kind of like leaves. Lucy just takes off. She's like, we're going to talk about this later, kind of a deal almost. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I don't want to be part of this. I'm not my dad, And he goes up into the office, and he starts rummaging through his dad's shit. And then he gets super sentimental over his mom and, like, all this other stuff. And we get some backstory with her. And then we hear some rustling in the room. And he goes around, and he runs into none other than Pikachu, the, detective main of the movie. And he discovers that he can understand what Pikachu is saying, and Pikachu can understand him.
He discovers this vial first of
that's
the
right.
R serum, and he accidentally like sprays it everywhere, all over himself, and it's like a gas. So he opens up a window to make sure that
to air it out.
To air it out, and it like gets up into these APOM, and they like start freaking out. But then he like just walks away from it because he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, and that's when he meets up with Pikachu, who he can understand, and then they both have like their little freak out moment where they're like, "Oh my God, you can understand me! Like, I can't believe we're talking to each other right now." And that's when the APOM that got infected by that purple haze, burst through the room and like just start attacking because they're like crazy because of this thing.
Yeah, so they start trying to escape. They get on the rooftops and slide down, and like as these like APOM are like taking off his clothes for some reason.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird
for
scene.
Like comedy or something. I don't know. It just didn't really work. But anyway, so yeah, they kind of escape. Then the gas kind of wears off, and he gets his pants back, and he like starts freaking out on the streets, like asking people if they can understand the Pikachu, and they can't.
Yeah. So he's just walking around looking like a crazy person, talking to the Pikachu, and then asking other people if they can talk to the Pikachu. And this is when Pikachu tells him. We learn that Pikachu has amnesia. He doesn't remember where he's been, what he's done, and. So it's kind of muddying up the beginning sequence of the movie, so we don't know what exactly has taken place and what will go beyond that. So it kind of sets up the tone, I would say, of the movie, because there's a lot of like it's a lot of jumbled puzzle pieces, because we know we don't have the full story because the kid hasn't seen his father's body. He's just told that his father's dead, and now he's got the Pikachu, and the Pikachu doesn't remember everything. So, like, there's a lot of
kind of figure out around then that the Pikachu is his dad's partner Pokemon.
Yeah, that was his partner Pokemon, and that's kind of the thing in this world, and that's the thing in the Pokemon world. Like, you've got your main, and his dad's main was the Pikachu, because his dad is Ash.
No.
Well, he could be, man.
I don't think so.
He could be.
You're talking about the guy's dad?
Yeah, his dad's Ash. Yeah, that's my theory.
The naming of the dad was very obvious, almost Truman Show obvious.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
What, naming him Harry?
Goodman?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have as you go later into the show, you feel like dad abandonment issues are kind of a theme going on.
Yeah, throughout the whole show, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, they eventually the only reason I guess Pikachu's only like thing that he remembers that like helps him remember who he was is like his hat. And his hat says that he belongs to this kid's dad.
Well, the hat belongs to Harry Goodman, and the Pikachu's just left with the hat, and so that's his only lead, because now the Pikachu doesn't have...
the hat is the Pikachu size, so the Pikachu always wears the hat.
Oh.
It was just... they wrote inside to, like, return the hat to him, like, that's where he got the idea.
That's the only lead.
Yeah, that's the lead that they have, and that's kind of their connection. And Pikachu is like, no, I know that your dad is still alive. And the kid's like, no, you're crazy. He's dead, you know? And he's like, no, I can feel it in my...
He's like, I lived through whatever happened, so he must have too.
Exactly, yeah. And that's kind of what it goes off of from then on. And then it becomes a situation where this guy who has dad issues, who has problems with his parents, like, suddenly is interested in finding his dad because he wants to know the truth, you know? And they start investigating.
Kind of what happened to Pikachu and his dad, yeah.
Yeah, they find Lucy, and then they find that he was at the Rhyme Wharf, I guess, and kind of looking for clues as to what was going on and what is related to his disappearance, because it's still all shrouded in mystery.
Looking into that the R serum or whatever.
Yeah. There's a really fun little scene in there with Mr. Mime,
yeah,
who kind of leads them to where they need to go. I thought that was pretty funny, and that was cool. And then he leads them to this underground, like almost like cockfighting thing where they're just dueling Pokemon.
Well, yeah, it's just battling Pokemon in a city where battling Pokemon's technically... Is it illegal, or is it just... I think it's illegal.
It's frowned upon, or at least I think they did say it was illegal, or it's not allowed.
This is
there.
a city where Pokemon are not allowed to fight,
oh, yeah.
and so there's underground fighting.
He asked the Pikachu, he's like, "Hey, I thought there wasn't battling here," and then he's like, "There's not. Like, it's not supposed to be.
There's not supposed to be. Yeah, we're supposed to live in harmony, and like as we got into this harmonious city, like the Pikachus the Pokemon were like doing tasks that humans no longer wanted to do, you know, like they were directing traffic and like contributing.
I wouldn't say doing tasks the humans didn't want to do. I just think that they found a role in society for things that they could do to help to make the city work.
Yeah, they have jobs and stuff, which I thought it was kind of funny, just like seeing all the Pokemon doing stuff in the background, like when they go to that underground fight club thing, they have a bunch of louder being like the speakers and the playing the music and shit.
Yeah, it was funny.
Hilarious.
But then also, you didn't see too many, fully evolved Pokemon just out and about in the city, but you saw a lot of them down in the fighting arena.
Yeah. So the fighting arena, the
fighting arena, I feel like was filled with trainers, and that's why the Pokemon were more evolved. And the regular Pokemon are more common than the evolved ones.
Yeah. That scene, it almost kind of reminded me of the casino scene in Star Wars Episode 8, just a little bit. Like it was kind of like a diversion almost. Like I don't know what it served.
They were trying to find out where they were getting the R.
Yeah, I get that, but
gas.
like the location seemed. I guess no. It gave us a good example of what it does, and the characters saw what it does.
Well, they were testing the R in the arena anyway, so that's like why it would lead them.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
to the doctors,
because they didn't know that the fucking monkey dudes were.
We're freaking out because of it.
Yeah, we're freaking out because of the gas. So this gives the characters an example of that. So Pikachu. They talk to the guy who runs this joint, and they're like, "Hey, like we want to know what's going on with this like serum stuff. Like, what is this?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll tell you, but I want a rematch because Pikachu apparently kicked this guy's Charizard's ass last time he was in here." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it again. Like, let's do this." And then the guy gives him the R serum, and the Charizard is just freaking the fuck out. And so then we get introduced to that, like what it
Pikachu,
actually does.
For some reason, can't use his abilities.
Yeah, he's forgotten how to use his abilities, so like everything has been stolen from him memory-wise. He's basically like a complete blank slate. All he knows is that he needs to find his partner, and this kid is his partner's son, and he's going to help him.
Yeah, so when the Charizard starts trying to attack Pikachu, and Pikachu can't fight back, then Tim jumps in there to try and help out. And then, like, basically all hell breaks loose after that, because then the Charizard knocks over the dude, his owner, because he comes in there too and is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then, like, all the gas that he had from the R starts, like, leaking out to every Pokemon.
Yeah. And then since everything starts going to shit, like the police end up showing up and then arresting him.
Yeah, one of the funny parts that was in that was in like when the fish tank for the Magikarp breaks open, and his idea is like, oh, all you gotta do is kick the fucking Magikarp so it evolves into Gyarados so we can get away.
The one funny thing I thought before is what were those speaker Pokemon, the sound Pokemon called? Loudered. So they were playing some like techno during the fight, right? But then they go crazy and they start playing like Russian hard bass.
Yeah, they
and
really
that's them freaking out and starting to destroy stuff with their sound, which breaks the aquarium with the Magikarp in it.
Yeah, that's freaking sweet.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. They just harder techno.
Yeah. and then the Gyarados. Yeah, or the Magikarp does evolve into a Gyarados, like right as the serum wears off on the Charizard, so the Charizard goes all wide-eyed when he sees the fucking massive Gyarados. It was pretty sweet.
One thing I thought was cool in that scene when Pikachu has to fight the Charizard again, because apparently they fought before. The guy wanted a rematch, and if the Pikachu won, then he'd give him the information they wanted. But you go south for the Pikachu because for some reason he can't remember do his moves, amnesia stuff. But what I thought was funny, when the Charizard was going crazy about to really smash on that Pikachu, the kid runs into the arena and starts stomping on its tail, on its fired nub.
Yeah, he starts trying to kill it.
Yeah.
That'll kill it, huh? Because if the
flame goes out on a Charizard or a Charmander or any of the evolution tree, they fucking die.
He's trying to snuff that guy out.
I thought that was an interesting, like, where would you... It's like maybe like punching a shark in the gills type of thing. You stomp on the Charizard's tail.
Just stuffing your hand in the gills. Yeah, that's a kill. That's a kill shot. He was going for the jugular immediately.
Well, the Charizard was on a rampage, and I guess that was the one thing to get its attention.
Should have just brought a bucket of water and just poured it on the.
How hard is
the
it to put out the fire?
Blasted him with water, so
because I think
that
the tail doesn't go out when it goes into water, but
I mean it went down a little bit, but it wasn't. Yeah. But I think it's just like a kind of special flame, so it takes a lot.
Yeah.
But it's really funny that he went for that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to mention that. So then you have that scene. The police pick him up, take him back to the precinct.
Yeah, and then the guy tells him that it was the drug basically was being provided by the doctors, and that's all he says.
Yeah. So then we go back. Since he got arrested, he argues with the lieutenant, and he's convinced that his dad has to be alive. But then he shows him the video of the crash, and he's like, yeah, he couldn't have survived that. This is something that he was going to die in, which is kind of ridiculous because you don't really see the result of the crash. It just looks really bad, and everyone just assumes he's dead, even though no body has been found.
The crash, he bounces off the road and falls below the road, onto this other. This open area.
As it's a bridge.
Yeah.
So it goes down into a ravine.
It was a huge fall, and it tips over on to its top. So of course no one's going to fucking survive.
No, it's a modern... the drop wasn't extremely large. It's a modern car, and so safety features... I wouldn't be surprised if someone died, but I equally wouldn't be surprised if someone lived through that crash.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking Saw 4... Or no, Saw 1, where he wrecks, and he's like... life is worth so much more. That's what Mewtwo does. He becomes Jigsaw.
And then after that, they kind of figure out that his dad was being hired by the old guy who basically founded Rhyme City.
Yeah, and Howard Clifford, the double named man.
Yeah, and then he kind of shows him a hologram of what happened, and he's like, "No, dude, your dad is alive," and it shows Mewtwo coming in to blast him, and then he talks to the Pikachu a little bit, and then he leaves. He's like, if you find Mewtwo, you'll find your dad.
Yeah, and he also gives us a red herring here, where he tells us to watch out for his son Roger, who he's saying is in control of the whole company.
Oh yeah, he said that he found out that the R is coming from his son.
Exactly.
But there's nothing really that he can do because his son controls everything now.
Yeah, and By the way, if you ever still see Bill Nighy in a situation like this, he's going to be the bad guy. And I was like, well, that guy looks like the bad guy. The second I saw him in the movie, I was like, yeah, that's got to be the bad guy. And yeah, it totally was. So now Tim and Pikachu get with that chick Lucy, and they recruit the Psyduck and her, and they go out and investigate further. So they break into the lab facility that his dad was investigating. And this is where they learn about Mewtwo, and they get their little weird hologram flashback thing, where they see Mewtwo escape again after being recaptured. I think they said it was like 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years ago he escaped from the Kanto region.
Yeah,
which is why it like basically is saying that it's like in the same universe as the video games, because that's exactly what happened.
Okay. So they recaptured him after he escaped from there. And then, of course, shit went down.
They hired his dad to go find Mewtwo again so that they could capture him, basically.
Yeah, and they see the video. Mewtwo blows open. He escapes, and then it's that same old song and dance that we've been getting of Mewtwo just fucking his father over for no reason, and then wiping Pikachu's memory. And they also see in this moment, I think this is where they see. They see Pikachu like aiding Mewtwo's escape, and Pikachu doesn't really know what to make of it. He's like, I don't remember that, and he like starts to really doubt himself because of that. Because he's like, well, I must be like.
Mewtwo says something like,
yeah, he's like,
thank you for helping me. Humans are evil.
Yeah. And so it's really leading you down this path, and like honestly, it's not that hard to figure out that there's something more going on. But I don't know. I think it was decently done. At the very least. And then, like, the evil son, like, remotely triggers these locks to open up, and there's these dudes in there that attack him.
The Greninja that go after him.
Yeah, what are they called? Greninja?
Yeah.
God.
They've been experimented on for, like, power enhancement, and so they go after him, and they break through into the Terratora.
Yeah. They've got these fucking, like, little bars that they can increase like stats for each of the. It's like when you're creating a character in a sports game and you got the little stat bars, and they're just like upping the shit out of the strength and size and stuff of these Pokemon.
They're trying to control the Pokemon evolution or whatever. And so they break through into the Torterra enclosure, basically.
Side note: I would totally have a Torterra garden.
Yeah, Torterra are fucking awesome. They're one of
I'd
my
totally
favorites.
maintain and keep it to Torterra garden. That'd be awesome. Put a bonsai on their backs. Fuck yeah.
I don't even remember Torterra. This is like some bullshit Pokemon to me, man.
You don't remember Torterra? That whole fucking scene?
No, in the movie I do. I don't remember the Torterra in like actual Pokemon when I was
it's
involved.
Gen 4. So that's why you wouldn't know.
I think I remember Gen 2 and some of Gen 3.
It's one of the main. It's one of the starter Pokemon for Gen 4.
Oh, is it? Okay, that makes sense why they'd have it. What about like Mankey? Where the fuck is Mankey?
Mankey is a Gen 1 Pokemon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mankey and Primeape.
How many?
No, you're right.
We'll ask about that later.
You're right. Fucking
Primeape. This is gold mine for me. I know all these fucking Pokemon.
I just want to know how many Gen 1 Pokemon actually appeared in the movie. Like, what's the ratio between Gen 1 and all the other gens?
I feel like
they had a pretty good spread of the Pokemon types and from which gens. Generally, I think most of the Pokemon that were being like shown were from Gen 1, but then they had quite a few from the rest.
I feel like the reason why they did that is because they wanted to show more Pokemon that people would recognize off the bat without having to be extremely knowledgeable of all Pokemon.
Yeah, like you see the Snubbull, that was the captain's partner.
That's Gen 2.
That's a Gen 2 Pokemon. And then, Greninja is like Gen 6, and then Torterra is Gen 4. Like they show a good amount from like everything. But Pikachu and Psyduck and the Jigglypuff in the background and the Mr. Mime, they're all Gen 1.
Yeah. That's true. They had a lot of Gen 1s, for sure. And I think that's to hit the nostalgia factor, because a lot of people got into it when it was new. Or newer, It was like, it's like our generation kind of... I can't really say our generation, but like that's where it started for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, once the Greninja, whatever the fuck they are, attacked, Psyduck kind of loses his shit like he does, and he explodes basically and wipes the Greninja out of the way. And that's when they kind of go into the
Torterra enclosure, like, really starts shaking up, because then they think like earthquakes are happening or whatever, but then it's actually just like a shitload of huge Torterras.
Yeah, so they've obviously been modified as well. And this is where Pikachu got like super hurt by the blast, and he
got like a fucking stone lodged inside him.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
happened.
And he's pretty fucked up. And this is where our main man Tim reaches out to Bulbasaur, and he's like, "You gotta help me, bro. You gotta help me save my Pikachu pal." And they take like a fucking they take like 5 minutes to bring him over to this weird clearing with those,
like a bunch of Pokemon lead him over to where this a special Pokemon that can heal Pikachu will help.
Yeah,
out.
what Pokemon heal in this universe? I don't know of any healing
there's
Pokemon.
a few that have healing type moves.
I know most of them have leeching moves they can heal themselves with. Like some of them do.
Yeah,
like the grass type Pokemon.
They're all like self heal moves.
What about Clefairy? She's always around.
There is like I can't remember what.
Like fairy type Pokemon, do they heal?
There is like a moon ability that will heal. Yeah, they can learn it. So I was thinking it was going to be like another legendary, like Celebi or something like that. But it turns out that it's Mewtwo who has been hiding there, and he helps him out. He kind of like, but before he can really like explain anything, the evil son like finds out where they are, captures Mewtwo with these machines, and just kind of like takes him off after he heals Pikachu. And then Pikachu and Tim kind of fight, and he's like, "You heard me say that I betrayed your dad and everything," and so he kind of like leaves. And so they go back to kind of like tell the media what happened with this guy with the son Roger, I think is his name, right?
Yeah. And they want to tell his dad too. Like they go back to him. I think don't they try to warn him, or is that later?
The girl is the one that goes to try and tell the media like what.
Oh,
the
yeah,
connection,
yeah.
And then he goes to the dad, and that's when he finds out the dad is actually the bad guy.
Yeah. He finds out the thing that we've known all along, right?
Yeah.
It was really weird the way they handed that off, where you find out who's been the son the whole time.
Yeah, the Ditto
It was actually the Ditto.
Yeah,
that kind of made sense to me though.
Yeah, there are instances in the games where Dittos have impersonated people.
I thought it was funny that they kept the flaw of the eyes of the Ditto, but that's only for like one Ditto in one episode of the original Pokemon anime. Like every other Ditto can do it just fine.
No, I thought if you read the Pokedex entry on Ditto, is that there's always an imperfection in what they do. You can tell that's not quite correct.
Maybe I don't remember that one, but there is an episode in the anime that's basically like they try to help this Ditto like perfect that, and then he does. So I thought that was kind of funny that like that Ditto's specific problem was this Ditto's problem.
Yeah.
So he like hides the eyes behind sunglasses.
Yeah. So when they go back,
it's a cool allusion back to the games, though. I feel.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
So once Tim goes back and talks with Howard, the CEO, he learns that Howard has been behind it the whole time. You know, and his whole
he sees him wearing the Neuralink thing that he saw in like the hologram for Mewtwo, and they were like trying to connect that to him.
Yeah, and he basically brings down the house. You know, he takes over Mewtwo. He tells him that like his whole thing has been about evolving to the next stage, and his evolution as a human being is by putting his consciousness,
becoming a Pokemon.
Yeah, within Mewtwo, because his body is
not
frail.
Evolving.
His body is frail and old, and he doesn't want to. He's in a wheelchair.
And the only way that they can really take over is if the Pokemon are in like a frenzied state, which is why they created the R. And so he uses the Neuralink thing and the R to like send Mewtwo into a frenzy, and then uses Mewtwo's power to like basically combine him with Mewtwo. And then he like starts releasing the gas from these parade balloons, the floats, to like all the Pokemon in the city, so that he can use Mewtwo's power to combine them with their human partners.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of an interesting plot.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, it's like that's a very deep, like a surprisingly deep plan that he's got.
It kind of
built.
also makes it seem like Mewtwo is a fucking... he's more powerful in that movie than he probably should be.
Yeah, he's a tough motherfucker.
He's basically God.
Well, he basically says that Mewtwo has the ability to like mess with people's souls, and I was like, holy fucking shit. How does Mewtwo have that ability?
He just does, bro. He just does. He's Mewtwo.
I know, but I don't think Mew has that ability.
Yeah, but this is the sequel to Mew.
It kind of is the sequel to like the first Pokemon movie in a way. It kind of
sort
feels
of does
like
feel.
that.
Yeah, it does, huh? Because he's recaptured after the first one. You know, he gets done doing his shit in the first movie, and then they just grab him in this one.
Yeah,
kinda. Yeah, it kind of works. But this is when Pikachu finally like remembers how to do his shit, and he fights Mewtwo. And then we find out that Roger, this guy's son, is actually the Ditto.
And then the real Roger was like stuck in a closet.
Yeah, he was all
in that
tied up.
closet?
He's all tied up.
Yeah. And then they eventually like distract Ditto, and they pull the little headset off of Howard, and they kind of resume Mewtwo's consciousness, his decision making. You know,
Yeah,
so he
and
breaks
then
the
Mewtwo
spell.
is able to fix everything.
Yeah, which is also super, super OP. Like, he just repairs all that has been done.
Yeah, he's like, I can fix everything that has been done. He fucking says that as a line.
So it's... And then, like, we start having, like, the kind of... Everyone's kind of happy, you know. We got... Lucy gets a full-time reporter job. She's no longer just a blogger, waste of space on the website. She gets like a legit thing, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna get a spot on CNN," and I'm like, "Yeah, they're probably gonna botch the story though. Like they always fucking botch the story."
It was like CMN or something like that.
Oh, was it CMN? Oh my god,
for like their thing, yeah.
I thought they said CNN, and I was like, "Really? You're gonna fucking do that?"
It was either CNM or CMN. I can't remember which one. But yeah, it was slightly different.
Oh, okay. And then they learn that the dad this whole time fused with Pikachu, and in order for Mewtwo to like heal his dad, Harry,
he had to combine them.
Yeah, he had to combine the two.
So he had to combine the two because he couldn't heal the dad outright. But then he gave Pikachu a task to bring him the son, so he could fully heal the dad.
Yeah,
because like,
bring me the boy.
He needed the DNA or something. I don't know.
That's why
I don't know exactly what Mewtwo
sense.
needed, but they made Mewtwo basically a god, and the only Pokemon that is god in the games is Arceus, which is really odd. So,
I mean, in the 2000 Pokemon movie, Mewtwo's super powerful,
not
but
in 2000 in the first movie. 2000 is the one with Lugia.
Oh yeah. So in the first one, they made him super powerful, but not to this extent.
Yeah, like he was powerful psychically, and he had that whole battle with Mew, and he had a bunch of clone Pokemon, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't fucking like creating people out of nothing or combining people with Pokemon.
Yeah,
which is really odd because, like, what happens?
Yeah, and also, why do that? He's like,
this is the huge plot thing that at the very end that makes no sense to me. Is like when Howard combines all the people, like when he's controlling Mewtwo, the people's bodies fucking disappear.
Yeah,
but his own body is fine
because he didn't actually really fuse with Mewtwo.
Yeah, he just used the
Mewtwo's
headdress.
power can do that. And so he
but he
has
used
the
Mewtwo's
neural
power
link.
with the neural link thing.
Well, he used this neural link to put his consciousness
Mewtwo
into
like
Mewtwo.
freak out with the
Well,
the
that's
drug.
because that's the only way he could then he makes Mewtwo freak
but
out.
that was the
makes,
thing that he
makes
said-
him makes him wild, basically, not have an intelligence, and that way he could
that
use
was
the
the
neural
thing
link.
that he said
That's
would
when you
make it so
dominate
that
him.
you could control it and dominate it.
Yeah, that's
so
the
like
gas
so he
allows
wouldn't
you.
technically
he
need
never
the neural
actually
link thing
fused
anymore.
because he needs Mewtwo's power to fuse him actually.
He's
into
not
Mewtwo.
trying to fuse into Mewtwo. He's trying to use Mewtwo to.
So he's basically
he wanted to be Mewtwo.
put his
That's-
he
that was the
basically
whole
put his
thing.
consciousness into Mewtwo, whereas Mewtwo's power was what was needed to actually fuse the two together.
Yeah.
Or to fuse the human soul into the Pokemon.
Here's what I don't get. What's diabolical about fusing people into their Pokemon? Like, that seems like a weird... Like, what is that how he gets his rocks off?
No,
Like,
he wanted people to be able to evolve into their best selves,
that's
like
fucking
Pokemon.
bizarro, though.
So
That's like
he-
some Tusk shit.
So
Human-
he fused
human
them
centipede
with
stuff.
so he fused them with their Pokemon partners.
That is fucking... That's bizarre. Like, what kind of fetish does this guy have? Didn't you think that? It's like, why is he doing this? Like, I
Yeah.
get that he wants to be...
make humans, like, get them to their next state to evolve.
But they're not evolving. They're just turning into
I
fucking
know.
Pokemon.
Putting humans, making a human a Pokemon,
But Pokemon
is not evolving
evolve,
them.
so in a way they would be.
Yeah, but that's
if
not
they're
human
if they're an
evolution.
evolving Pokemon, what
But
if they're
they
a
have
one
human
stage?
minds. So
God
it's
damn
like-
it! It's like a fucking weird plot. And then like, what
Yeah,
if you?
that doesn't sit.
What
it
if you
did-
made
it
like?
doesn't work very well. It
What if
didn't
you
work
made
for
like
me.
300 of them into Pidgeys and they just pecked you to death? Like, what kind of plot is that?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if he's controlling Mewtwo, they wouldn't be able
Yeah,
to
it
peck him to
did.
death.
It didn't work very well for me.
Yeah. And then at the very end, the daddy issues get resolved with the characters,
For
and
both,
yeah, for everyone, all daddy issues are solved in this fucking movie.
And then even Pikachu says it. You can't have daddy issues without the daddy.
That's right, yeah. And then, this is when he offers him the chance to, he's like, hey, you want to go home, kid? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go home. And then he decides, like, no, I'm going to stay here with you, Dad, and we're going to be detectives together. And then I was thinking, as the movie was going and, like, finishing up, I'm like, okay, so he has Ryan Reynolds' voice the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck did this guy not know that Pikachu was his dad?
I
I
thought
know
about
they
that.
don't talk.
I thought about that.
They don't
as
talk
well.
much, but like
They never talk.
it never did. It
apparently.
not ring a bell at all. Like just like man,
No.
that voice is
Well,
like-
I mean, he said that he hasn't seen his dad in years, so maybe he doesn't remember.
Doesn't remember.
what his dad sounds like.
That's the pass I'm going to give it.
all right, that's not as
There's
crazy
other
as
stuff.
the why the
there's
fuck would
other
you turn
stuff
him into
that's
Pokemon?
Stupid. That I'll let pass.
Yeah, that's the overall plot though. Lots of daddy issues in this movie.
And
What
then
it-
you saw the dad being the Pikachu from a mile off.
Oh
as well.
yeah, like in the first 10 minutes of Pikachu being there, I was like, I bet you the Pikachu's his dad.
I wouldn't necessarily.
It becomes more obvious a little later. But
When he
it's-
had the hat, I was like, oh, I wonder if the Pikachu's his dad. And then like I wasn't founded on anything; it was just like a random guess. And then like later, I was like, oh my god, it is his dad.
When it's around,
What the fuck?
when they're investigating the crash type thing, and I'm like, what if? Yeah, that's when it. And then later, when you hear about the diabolical plan to fuse,
Then
Pokemon,
you're like,
oh,
okay, yeah,
that's
100%.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
at first it was just when I played Resi 2 and I just like flipped a couple combos and unlocked the first like piece, and I was like, oh, that was really easy. I wonder if I'm going to do that with the next one, and I didn't. That's how it felt in the beginning, and then I did.
When they were
kind of paper
Yeah.
thin with the red herrings.
Yeah, another side thing when they were talking about finding ways to make Pokemon better, I thought that one of those super or mega evolution stones would be a part of this movie where they mega evolve a Charizard for a fight or something like that. I thought that might come
I
out,
thought
but
maybe there would be something like that, but then at the same time, like
Because
he didn't have his own partner Pokemon.
the R-Gas
and-
has no basis in any of the games, right?
no.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is the kid still doesn't have a partner Pokemon.
You know,
Nope.
when it said R,
It's
I
his
thought
fucking
Team
dad.
Rocket was
I know.
totally going to be in there, but then they weren't.
Maybe the kid's partner Pokemon is his dad, and that's who he needed all along.
Yeah, he just needed a daddy.
Yeah, a lot of stuff gets resolved really easily.
Yeah, I wonder how much how much Harry, the kid's dad, remembers about being Pikachu.
Basically nothing is what it kind of sounded like. He's like, for some reason, like I just like cannot stop thinking about coffee, which is like what he's obsessed with is the fucking Pikachu.
Does that mean Pikachu's obsessed with coffee, or is Ryan Reynolds? Or
yeah, was he obsessed with coffee before and then as Pikachu and then after?
Because if that's a character trait of the dad who loves coffee, then him loving coffee would not come as a surprise.
Yeah.
But if it's Pikachu has the love of coffee.
Then why would he then pick that up?
I wonder if it's like he just barely started drinking coffee, and then because Pikachu had like never had it, he like freaks out, and so he got the addiction because he got his own Pikachu addicted to coffee.
But it seems like, so again, this leads to the conscious that like Pokemon being individuals where they can show up at one of these restaurants or cafes and then make their own orders as well. Another Pokemon would serve them.
Which is why there was the Ludicolo.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was really funny. I loved that scene, by the way, when he was like fucking ordering the coffee and the Ludicolo was like, Ludicolo! It like freaks out.
And it brings him the coffee all nice and calmly.
Yeah. And he's like, thanks, doll. Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess Pikachu can have the love for coffee.
This movie's towing the line between Digimon and fucking Pokemon, though, where it's like, oh, they're among us now. They're equals with us. And I'm like, oh, my God.
They kind of always were. I don't see what...
Yeah, but like they have jobs and shit. Like they're on the payroll, man. Like the fucking Machops are
in the fucking like
Machops
Pokemon
getting
anime
paid.
and in the games, they kind of talk about how they use Pokemon to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
like in the first Pokemon game, they have like Machops like stomping on the ground to make foundations and stuff, and in like they have Chanseys working with in the Pokemon centers as like nurses, basically. They have all sorts of like work for Pokemon,
and I thought it was cool
it
too.
Makes sense
that the normal police force were often seen with Arcanines and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they do that in the games too. Like they have the Growlithe as partners, the dog Pokemon,
the Growlers.
So they're like the canine units, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And that made me laugh that the Snubbull was like his partner Pokemon.
Yeah.
The captains or whatever.
I dislike Snubbull in the games.
But you liked him in the movie, right?
Yeah, it was okay. He didn't really play too much of a role, really, so...
I heard you chuckle at the Snubbull.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just love how Cameron kicked my seat. Like in the beginning, I'm like, really?
Just to let you know, I was
the
there.
guy that I know is the one that kicks my seat. Like, I understand if it's like some rando.
Just to let you know, I was there. A little love tap for you. I thought about resting my feet on top of your seat for a minute, just to like who like it's a fucking empty theater, right? And somehow
super empty.
And somehow he picks the one row that everyone wants to fucking sit on.
It's a good row, man.
And so
it's
I'm like,
fucking H row.
I was like,
you know?
Those
God
people
damn.
didn't have those tickets when you bought it, right?
They did. Look at him. Look at his eyes.
They had
He knew.
him.
Yeah.
I wanted to be close.
You picked a fucking row that had a shitload of people on it? Every other row was empty.
Well, you know, it's just fucking closer, but not too close, not too far.
There was so much, like just one row up.
I gotta, you know, and when we sat down, it was like Craig is over half of me and Cameron's over like a third of me. So I'm just like snuggled in, you know, fucking no room.
And then you knew on top of that more people were coming in?
I didn't know about the people to the side of us. I knew we had people to the left. So I was like, okay, one of us is going to sit next to somebody.
And
but
so,
the other people, they
and so
bought it
of course, I stood up and went to the row behind and had no issues at all.
Yeah.
A whole fucking row.
The crowd was decent at the movie. I mean, there were a bunch of little kids.
In the beginning, there was a lot of talking from the people right next to me.
Yeah, well, they were figuring it out.
They were trying to get their
I
kids settled, which was okay. But if they kept talking during the movie, I would have bitch slapped them.
No. So this
dad
is my
was
opinion.
really annoying.
Yeah, no. So this is a kids movie, Craig.
I'm aware
take your
it's a
serious.
kids
You can
movie.
take your serious movie watching angst to actual serious movies, but this is a kids movie. You're gonna have kids there, and kids don't sit well throughout the whole
I was
movie.
talking about the parents. The kids were quiet. The fucking parents were the ones that were talking, and they were pissing me off.
It was only during the opening.
Yeah,
scene,
I was cool with it.
They weren't that bad throughout the whole.
It wasn't super packed though, but I mean, there were probably like 100 people.
And I'm pretty sure
maybe.
the kids who sat on my row to the right snuck in.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure because they all sat down, right? And then they realized it was in 3D, so one kid had to go run out and grab some glasses for everyone. So I'm pretty sure they snuck in.
Well, they got the movie for free.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. I didn't dislike this movie though. I thought it was actually pretty decent. It had some really stupid parts, but
stupid parts you'd expect from a kids movie, but enough like Ryan Reynolds' sarcastic humor.
Yeah, there was humor
nice.
for adults in there, and then there was a lot of kind of really funny humor just from like the Pokemon itself. Like if you're a fan of Pokemon, then you can laugh at certain things. Like I enjoyed the whole Psyduck thing with Pikachu, and he's like a living bomb, dude.
And then Psyduck used that to his advantage to get stuff out of Pikachu.
Yeah, he like makes him rub his feet so he doesn't fucking like freak out.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a sequel of it. I don't know if it made enough to warrant that, but
I don't know how. Well, it's based on the video game Detective Pikachu,
right?
And they'd have to make a sequel to that first, probably.
Oh, I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed a lot of the humor from it. Its story is really, meant for kids, so there's a lot of forgiveness in there. It's less trying to take itself seriously as most other video game movies do.
You put Ryan Reynolds in a movie, you know that they're not going to. The movie itself won't take itself seriously.
Yeah. So I mean, they knew what they were doing. It's.
The creepily realistic / cartoonish way they did the Pokemon worked especially with Ryan Reynolds.
I
as
didn't
Pikachu.
like some of them.
Me neither.
But most of them were all right.
Like
Mewtwo's whole thing was really
weird.
bothering
especially
me.
when he was being controlled by the I forget his name, the evil dude.
Yeah.
When he was being controlled by him and his mouth was moving when he was talking, looked really weird.
Yeah,
and then when Mewtwo went back to just
showing
talking
their
psychically
teeth and stuff, I don't like it when they show their teeth, especially with those Apom in the beginning when they were all like. It was really fucking weird. It was like that whole Sonic thing again with it, where he has the human teeth, and it just bothered me. But some of the other parts were cool. The Mr. Mime surprisingly didn't bother me. I really liked the Ludicolo design where he's got like the beard and shit. Pikachu itself was great. The Gyarados is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like the way they did Gyarados.
Yeah, it was cool looking. I don't know. I think it's kind of a fun little trip down nostalgia memory lane almost here with this movie. Nothing too impressive. The plot's a little bit heavy-handed with the mom died, dad's an asshole.
It's really obvious in every way.
Yeah, it's very standard too.
Every time they tried to subtly allude to something, they're not subtly alluding to a problem later. They're fucking smacking you around with it. But again, guys, it's a kid's movie.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, it is. But the only time that you thought that Mewtwo was really going to be any kind of bad guy was like the first 5 seconds.
And then it's like, there's something else happening.
And then basically immediately after, they're like, yeah, Mewtwo's really not the bad guy. But you're not supposed to know that yet.
Mewtwo's a bro. He's going to help you out. You're his lifting partner. He's spotting you on that car bench that flipped over.
Really, I mean, like the only like wool that this would pull over any eyes would be like the eyes of 5-year-olds. So I mean that's what it's for.
Yeah. So Craig was confused.
It's for the little children.
Craig at the end was like, "Oh my god, I get it." Turns to the little kid next to him, was like, "Did you call that earlier?" I didn't see that coming.
Such a revelation.
Yeah. It's just, and that's exactly what it's made for. That's exactly what the last Pokemon game was made for. That's what this movie was made for. Like, it's just kicking those 90s kids, back into the 90s, thinking about playing those games when we were younger. I think it served its purpose pretty well. And honestly, I think it's kind of the best video game movie so far.
It was...
Rampage was fun and Tomb Raider was fun. But they were both more bad than this movie was.
Well, I feel like
they were also trying to take themselves a little more seriously.
Exactly. That's where it's hard when a video game movie it's based off of, I don't know, and then it tries to take itself as serious as the video game itself.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think that's
unless,
like the biggest problem.
They haven't found a way to do that and have it come off like a great movie, because there's just too much about the game you have to know, or if they mess up too much from what they got from the game, then it's bad for both people who are fans of the game, and then it's bad for people who don't know about the game.
Yeah.
A lot of like the problems that we've had with I think the previous game or the previous movies that we watched for video games, like Double Dragon, takes itself way too seriously, especially for what it is. Super Mario, I feel like, had that same problem. Mortal Kombat did the same thing, but it kind of knew a little bit, which is why it's still kind of fun to watch. But all of those take themselves way too seriously for what they are.
And then since Pokemon's always
they ooze cheese in a way that's like unbelievable, but Pokemon kind of didn't, because it knew.
It knew, and then I think since it was centered towards kids, and Pokemon always is, it just wasn't trying to be too serious and too heavy with, adult themed like drama.
Yeah.
That kids wouldn't want to watch anyway. So I think in a sense the reason why it's as good as it is because it was meant for kids. And it could trim away, and it could take itself not as seriously.
Yeah, I could see that. For some reason, I was just reminded of the fucking scene in Street Fighter where it's the fucking invisible boat,
the invisible boat, and they're like
skimming across the water,
and they're watching the fucking waves, and they're like,
we're just sitting there.
What is happening?
No, that was me who like blew my fucking like lid off of that. I'm like, guys, it's an invisible boat, but boats have a wake. Just follow the wake.
Yeah, it's not like an invisible plane.
They don't even fucking know until like they see it.
It's
and they're
so
what?
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's like an invisible plane, that makes sense.
Yeah,
unless you're up high enough for a contrail, an invisible plane makes sense. Invisible helicopter, I mean, you can hear it, it's loud. But invisible boat, it's loud, and it just has a fucking arrow that points where it's at all the time.
Yeah. Easiest thing to fucking... They're like, oh, wow, we should have thought this through a little
even
bit
a submarine, they could have just...
Yeah, well, a submarine doesn't even need to be invisible.
Yeah, it can be totally visible.
Even with a submarines detect other things by using sonar, which just uses sound to bounce off of objects. And being invisible doesn't help there.
Yeah,
no invisible watercraft. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no to the invisible watercraft. And Pokemon didn't go there, and for that...
they didn't have the invisible watercraft.
They get an extra half star for their
They
efforts.
didn't force-feed anyone spinach.
Yeah.
They didn't drastically change any designs.
No, not really. It was all pretty true to the series. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was kind of fun. It's not like something I want to see again necessarily, but I was pleasantly surprised by what we walked into. To be honest,
definitely.
A little score before, it is easily the best video game movie.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Being over on Rotten Tomatoes is no question. Like there's a reason it's the best.
Yeah. It's because it's at least okay.
I mean, it was fun to watch.
It was enjoyable.
Like, if nothing else,
it was like you sat down and you were laughing because it was actually funny, and you weren't laughing because it was absurd.
It was actually funny.
Exactly.
Unlike watching it and it's so shitty that you have to laugh.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous seeing all these Pokemon in the real world.
But then again, they pull it off. Like the film doesn't take itself too
honestly
seriously.
Worked.
So,
and it was kind of funny seeing like a Snorlax just sleeping in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
and
it's just like wouldn't it be funny
like
if in the city a Snorlax fell asleep in the middle of the street and that road was closed, and then it's funny and it worked.
Yeah, it did. The bad guy's super generic. He has an interesting idea. So, I mean, he's a little bit three-dimensional when it comes to, like, I don't want to die
yet. It's a
yet,
more interesting plot than most Pokemon games have.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that at the end of it. Like, wouldn't it have been fun to play a Pokemon game where this was the plot?
I mean, they have the idea where like they use the legendary to perform some task, like with the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. They try to like make the like Groudon push it so that there's more land for people to live on,
and then
like the reverse, like they want Kyogre to like flood the land so that there's more water for some fucking reason. But yeah, they do that kind of thing, and he has his own method of wanting to use Mewtwo's power, which is kind of interesting.
No, I think with some adjustments, this would have been a really fun Pokemon game to play through.
Yeah, and it is based off of the Detective Pikachu game.
Yeah,
how closely is it related to the game?
I have no idea.
No fucking clue.
I haven't played Detective Pikachu.
Huh.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think it would be fun though, and if that's how the game is, I can see it being pretty cool with some minor tweaks, like you said.
I think Detective Pikachu is more of a like finding the clues type of thing rather than.
So it's like one of those
regular Pokemon
gimmicky kind of games.
I always thought that Detective Pikachu is probably in the same vein as the Pokemon Snapshot.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, like some kind of gimmicky kind of Pokemon game. Like they went Mario with it, where they're like, we got the power. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Pikachu tennis. Like Pikachu golf.
Pikachu tennis.
Pikachu kart. It's whatever the fuck we feel like making. That's what it sounds like to me, but I don't know. I don't even know what console that's on, Maybe we'll have to nominate it and compare and contrast the movie. But I honestly, when I saw the trailer, I was like, yeah, that doesn't look too terrible. I mean, it's got Ryan Reynolds. It's got a lot of good things going for it.
Yeah, at first when I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know how I feel about some of those Pokemon designs, like Jigglypuff being like furry as hell.
Yeah.
But it ended up working for me.
Yeah, same. Like these Pokemon, you can't quite describe them as cute, especially like the Eevee. Like it looks like it's like on the border of being cute or kind of off-putting, but I think it fits in the world they put them in.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be kind of weird and off-putting.
Yeah, where you're not supposed to. Yeah, they're not quite animals, quite furry animals. They're just I like it worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Even the Mr. Mime. He worked out.
That was good.
That was actually pretty funny.
That was a pretty funny scene.
They like trick him, like they're gonna burn him alive. That was really weird.
Dark.
Yeah, that was a really dark moment in a very children's movie.
Especially because he did end up lighting it on accident, remember? And then Mr. Mime was like freaking out, and then it just cuts away.
Yeah.
So did they kill Mr. Mime? Like, need justice for Mr. Mime. That's going to be the new hashtag
Mr.
for
Mime
this episode.
did get into a motorcycle crash that he came out of just fine. So.
That's true, yeah. That's true. He survived that brutal crash. I think he can survive some, like, third degree burns or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I will put this on top of my list for video game movies.
Yeah.
I also think that it's going to be impossible to top.
Impossible?
Yeah.
They're going to make a Metal Gear Solid movie, Craig. You never know,
It's going to be impossible to top.
Is it that much better?
Yes.
I mean, it is considerably better than the others.
It is worlds better. Like, it's not just, like, good as a video game movie, where, like, the other ones are so shitty that you have to laugh. This one is, like, decent as a movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, it has problems, but it's decent by itself. Like, it's worlds better than what we've watched.
Yeah, I gotta say, though, I'm excited to see that fucking...
Sonic?
No, fuck no. I'm not excited to see Sonic. No, I'm excited to see... Oh, is that going to be... That's going to be another one
Sonic
like this,
is the
right?
next one. It comes out in, like, 4 months.
Oh,
it's going to be...
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty right now.
That costume looked like shit. And I know they redid
CGI.
it.
No, I don't... They're
the
saying
costume.
They're going to.
No, they're going to
CGI.
redo the CG for Sonic.
The look of Sonic, like his costume is designed like I don't know. It looks so fucking weird.
I think they're only going to change his face. I don't know if they're going to change everything.
They gotta redesign that.
There's
Sonic,
something about it that I did not. I looked at it and I was like, that bothers me.
It's the face. It's everything about the face. The human teeth. The two.
The teeth. That's what it was.
The 2 human legs.
The teeth were the things that I was like, oh god.
And the eyes. Everything about that fucking design is
the way
like,
his legs
ooh.
look. It's just all of it's just off.
Yeah, he doesn't even have like clown shoes or anything, or like the fucking gloves.
off.
It's just like his hands. It's fucking weird. It's too much.
And then from the trailer too, it also feels like Jim Carrey's I mean, you could probably use this often to describe Jim Carrey, but just a little over the top with his presentation.
That's what he is. But Eggman is always an over the top villain. Like, you've played Sonic, you know how he is.
I know, but...
especially if you've seen the Sonic cartoons. Like,
yeah, he's pretty ridiculous.
Eggman is a fucking idiot. So, like, it works to have Jim Carrey be the
idiotic genius
to be Eggman. Yeah. I mean, I think that he's going to be the reason that it's okay.
Well, we'll see.
We'll hate everything else about it.
I do not think it's going to be as good of a film as Detective Pikachu. At all.
No.
Oh, also, I was telling we were looking at the trailer again while we're at the theater. I'm like, and why do they pick like David Hasselhoff's son to be the cop in this movie? Because like the guy who plays the cop, he could totally be a young Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
if you look it up again, like look at that trailer later, you'd totally agree.
I could see it. Yeah, I could see it. What about that King of the Monsters or whatever, that Godzilla movie? That looked pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, but that's not a video game movie.
No, it's not.
Although I am excited for that.
It did
that
look pretty
looks
awesome.
Sweet. I can't wait till Godzilla beats the shit out of Ghidorah.
What if he doesn't?
I mean, he has to, and then fucking Mothra's going to be in there. Mothra's got to help out.
What if he doesn't?
Mothra's always been pretty friendly, except for that one movie.
No, I saw the movie where they were friendly. I thought it was a shitty movie.
I mean, yeah, most of them are.
Almost all of them are, as far as I can tell, of course. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where Sonic fares. So that one's live action, right? Yeah, that's like
it's a live action one.
It's
oh man, what if they don't just have Sonic? What if fucking like Tails and shit is in there too, and they just haven't shown us yet, and they're just as bad?
I don't want to think about it. So, yeah, that's where I'm putting this movie, Detective Pikachu.
Top 3 for me: Detective Pikachu, number 1. Number 2 is going to be
Rampage.
And number 3 is Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's the only way it can.
Yeah,
really.
it's the only way.
I think Cameron had Tomb Raider over Rampage before.
I think I might. I'll have to look at my list again.
Yeah, I think he did. But either way, those are the cream of the crop. Those are the only ones that are like, yeah, it's okay. It's worth a watch, I guess.
Yeah.
This one for sure, though. If you like Pokemon...
Yeah, if you like Pokemon, it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
to see like all the Pokemon in the background and shit. But it's also a pretty fun movie to watch.
Yeah, it definitely is. I guess, yes, Sonic's going to probably be the next one unless they drop like a surprise thing, but I don't think they're going to do that. It's already hard enough to make a fucking video game movie live action and make any sort of money off of it, so... we'll have to keep an eye on Sonic and do...
I think after Sonic, they're making a Mario movie. Is the next one after that.
Again?
Yeah, in 2020. I think.
Are they sure that's a good idea?
I'm not.
They might not.
I don't know if it's going to be live action. I think it might be an animated one.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
We got to keep an eye on the next movie, though, and make sure we get our Rotten Tomatoes game going to see who is closest in the ratings. I would have probably put this one around like 60.
Well, we can start predicting Sonic like a month before.
Yeah, we should. We just need to keep an eye on it and watch for a release date, and then start getting the predictions rolling. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, guys, go check it out. It was fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I guess they're also giving out like packs for the Pokemon cards at some theaters for going to see Detective Pikachu.
Oh,
we
missed out on that.
I guess my sister got some, and she's got like Detective Pikachu as a card.
Oh, that's cool. It's a cool little promo.
They did that at the other Pokemon movies too.
Oh yeah, well I got
Pokemon the first movie. Yeah, you got like the Gold Mew or whatever.
Yeah,
and like a couple other Pokemon.
I think
cards.
I got 2 Pikachus.
I think they did that at 2000, but I think those were the only ones that did that. But
yeah, that was awesome back in the day. That was so fucking cool, man.
It's kind of cool that they did that again for Detective Pikachu for the kids and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another nostalgia kick right there. It's like, oh my god, you get collectibles from the movie, just like we did back in the day.
It's fucking sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Shit, yeah, you got anything else to add?
I think that's it for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Top of the list. Upcoming episodes of Nude Clan, we have Devil May Cry coming up in the game reviews, and then after that we have the Digimon World 3.
Legend of Dragoon, and then Cuphead, right?
Cuphead, yep. So that is the lineup coming up. Next week we'll have... Is next week going to be DMC5? Isn't that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Cameron, hop on that, and you and I will review that, and we'll have another vote up next week. So keep an eye out for that, guys. But nothing this week, so do what you will. And until then...
Enjoy the nude.
Time to get good.
Live always in the nude. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hog League. Today we're going to be covering the results from Week 5 and get our Week 6 matchups built. So first up, Schweiss's Schwittmeisters versus Romager's Rompers. Team Schweiss takes the win this week in light of a new add to Romager's party. Schwittmeisters scored 654 points overall to Romager's 676, but RDO Giorgio added 499 points for the week and was dropped at the 75-point penalty. Top scorers were Krenital, Bonsack, and Winterdisa on my team. Romagers, it looks like Dylan himself, Undead Care Bear, and also R. Giorgio topping the list for them. Next up, we have Craig versus the Bitches against the Doesn't Counts. And finally, the Doesn't Counts count for something as they take the win with a total of 423 to Craig's 628. Banshee, though, finally joining the fray, got the 75-point entry amount for his 452 points starting out in the league, which ultimately brought the team below Jake's for the week. Welcome to the league. Here's your fucking penalty. Top scorers for Jake are Jake himself, Materia User, Black Chris Games. Craig's high scorers were Irat, Craig himself, and Banshee with the 75 points. Next up is Matunica's Heroes against the Most Offensives. Once again, that Great Britain UK presence from Matunica triumphs over Joe. This time with a score of 814 over Joe's 591. Matunica's top performers were himself with 165, Troidal Power, and Aero Beert. And most defensive top performers, True Hoax, Brad F912, and Kayoki. So good work, guys. Great work being the only undefeated team in the league as of right now. Next and last matchup for the week is A for last place against Thy Death Squad, formerly Chase versus the World. Thy Death Squad easily thwarting A for last place this week with a total of 736 to A4's 490. Top performers, Thy Death Wife, Chase himself, Thy Death Sword, and Simon Parker, A4, Felicia Nomiko on the other team. I totally forgot to do the other matchup. Sorry, guys. Abrac cracks the whip versus the Scots Spot. Abrac's whip cracks true this week as he leads Cameron's team to a victory over Scott's Spot. Abrac & Co. scored 757, which was eventually reduced to 488 after the penalty to defeat Scott & Co.'s 397. Top performers were Combaticon Duke, Alec 1020, and Abrac himself. Scott's top performers were Fundamop, El Pumo, and Magic Carp. Cameron, once again, pointless on the week. Abrac, you got to start cracking your whip down on our host. So here are the matchups for next week. Schweiss's Sweatmeisters versus the Scott Spot. Craig and the Bitches versus Abrat Cracks the Whip. Doesn't Count against the A for last place. Matunica's Heroes against Chase versus the World. Now Thy Death Squad. Both undefeated teams, by the way. This is going to be a hell of a matchup. And then Dylan's Rominger's Rompers against the Doesn't Count. So once again, had to match up Bill and Chase, so I made Dylan and Joe face off one more time before the end of the season. Guys, get in, log your hog, hogib.herokuapp.com. Join the fun, join the competition. We're going to keep this thing going. We're going to have a few more weeks, probably like 6 more weeks, and then we'll do playoffs. The standings for each team as of this week: Schweiss's Schwettmeisters 2-3 on the week. Craig and the Bitches 1-4. Abrat Cracks the Whip 2-3. The most offensive 4-1. Doesn't Count 1-4. Matunica's Heroes 5-0. Chase versus the World or Thy Death Squad 5-0. Rominger's Rompers 1-4. Scott Spot 2-3. A for last place 2-3 on the season. Guys, keep it up. Everyone has at least won one round, and I'm looking forward to see who wins next time.